All right, so let me just touch on this topic in regards to Russ and Duy. So I'll talk about them this time. Earlier this morning, I talked about Robbie and Julio. This time, I'll talk about Russ and Duy. As far as, you know, when I reconnected with everyone, you know, these two guys were the last ones I was, you know, if I gotta be honest, really hesitant on bringing back. And you know, I wasn't sure when to bring them back. I was hoping that, I don't know, what did I say? Because I wanted to wait a while until I was already like 90 to 100% better. You know, I think 90% was my, you know, what do you call that? I think that was my tolerance point on bringing back these guys. But I think I made a video about that too, where I needed to be at least 90%, you know, in order to bring back these guys, because I know how these guys are when it comes to, you know, I know how very spirited Russ is. Loves to talk to friends, loves to engage in such topics like sports and, you know, and other things as well, you know. So, and he's very, very talkative, and you know, he really enjoys talking with groups and company, loves saying hi and all that. And I know how his energy is and all that. And as with Duy, loves planning hangouts and all that. So, you know, both these guys really love engaging in friendship activities. So for me, the only guys I had reconnected with at the time, which was in the beginning of June, was Julio, Nathan, Carlos, Sabas, Neil. Well, I mean, Neil, it was like, actually Neil was the first person, and then it was the rest of these guys that I mentioned. So let me ask myself this, and this is kind of like another what if topic here. So let's just say up till now, I still did not bring back Russ and Duy, right? Would the Nutbwallers would I've ever had the same feel? I mean, would the vibe ever have the same feel as far as like the Nutbwallers is concerned, especially when it comes to the group chats? Let's just say like in all of them, would the vibe have been pretty different still? Like something is missing without those guys. I wouldn't say missing, but it just would not feel very Nutballer-ish without those guys. And it's not to knock on these other guys like a boss, and you know, I'm not a boss since junior high, man. We go all the way back. He's one of the Nutballer OGs, and obviously Julio's been around for a long time too, you know, and Robbie, you know. So I'm just wondering, you know, if the vibe was still gonna be different, like without these guys. I'm talking about Russ and Duy, without them, without their services, functioning with, you know, as Nutballer members and with the Nutballers group, right? I don't know, man. Like, I want to say missing, but like it just wouldn't be very much complete as a Nutballers group without their services. When you're talking about, you know, needing the Nutballer vibes, and I know that a lot of times Russ would be super active on the group chats and all that. He'll be in every single one. I think it'll kind of feel like a Nutballers party mode. It almost feels like a party mode when Russ is there. And when it comes to Duy, I know he has not been on very much, you know, unless it's like group hangouts and all that. I mean, I know there's times that he'll be busy with some stuff, but so it's more Russ at this point. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm just glad that, like, you know, I know I don't really say this enough about Russ, that, you know, to be thankful for somebody, for a friend like him, a brother who is very, very talkative and energetic and spirited and passionate, you know. And hey, gotta love a unique brother like him, you know what I'm saying? So here, the thing is, like, you know, I think it may just feel, I mean, there's part of it that is missing when it comes to the Nutbwallers, and obviously I know around that time, before I brought those guys back, that I was still dealing with some anxiety. But for the most part, like, I mean, I told myself I may need these guys back, you know, to make myself feel like, you know, I've reconnected with my entire friend circle, and even the Nutbwallers, like, as a whole, you know, because prior to what I did toward the end of January, you know, the Nutbwallers was pretty much, you know, mostly like centered on the services of Russ and Duy, and really being able to pull the other guys in, as far as like Carlos and the boss. And most of the time, like, what really keeps the vibes going is the sports topics. Yeah, I know Russ is like a total, you know, savant on sports passion, you know. I say he can definitely be a guest with Gil and Gil's Arena, along with Rashad McCants and Brandon Jennings, Kenya Martin, you know, guys like them, Nick Young. They can really get into it. Whatever topic it is, Russ will definitely get into it, you know what I'm saying? That's the feeling I get with Russ here, because he's all about sports, and I think that what really keeps us going, or even when it comes to like music, like K-pop, you know, and such other stuff, like, you know, and movies as well. You know, he'll pull guys like a Boss, Neil, myself, and Carlos. So I think that's, you know, he's the connector at this point when it comes to his services with the Nutbwallers. So I feel that, again, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like these other guys aren't really doing anything, you know, to keep the vibes, you know, flowing in the Nutbwallers. They are, no doubt. I mean, I've you know, there's been group conversations when it was, you know, Boss, myself, Nathan, Neil, Julio. I remember at one point Julio was very active in some of those group chats, even before I brought back Russ and Duy. Now, you know, obviously now Russ is pretty much the takeover guy on all the group chats, but you know what? I think he's definitely been the connector, you know, like it was, you know, prior to what I did in earlier this January. So look, man, I mean, for Russ and Duy, I mean, I gotta say, man, I'm glad I brought those guys back. And you know, I wanted to wait. I don't know. I didn't know how long this is gonna take, but you know, I was like, screw it, man. I better just bring them back, because, you know, something tells me this. I mean, the group chats are not gonna function so much the same, like, without the services of these guys. And if you really want to keep these going, I mean, Russ will definitely keep things going in there. And when I'm at my best, I will definitely vibe with him, because we can keep all the vibes going. And someone want to chime in, like Carlos or Neil and all that, just like earlier today with the birthday money, and you got some really good laughter. It feels very Nutballer-ish, just like in good old days. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even in the hangouts of the past, you got Russ, and, you know, I want not to say he was like the center of attention, but, you know, when you got someone like Russ, who I think he definitely fits as a Nutballer, in that, you know, his personality can definitely click with the rest of us. You know, myself, my boss, Carlos, you know, Julio, Robbie, and Neil, obviously. The thing is, though, guys like Tristan, nah. I mean, there was a reason why Tristan was, the just took a leave of absence. I mean, he was around for a while, but guys like him, and I'm not sure about Bobby either, but I think the guys that I think he would click best with is the names that I mentioned. So look, man. I mean, for me, I know I gotta be at my best every time. I know I've been at my worst every time, and there's been examples, the latest instances of me just like going on beast mode and just, especially with earlier this morning, saying what I said and all that. And look, man, at the end of the day, when I'm at my best, I'm glad I brought Russ and Duy back, because these guys are gonna do it all. I mean, they're definitely gonna connect. They're gonna connect the vibes, with as far as with Russ, like sports and movies, and hell, if you want to say music, K-pop music, you know what I'm saying? So that's the one thing that we're just missing out of guys like Russ. And I know Duy has not been so much around as of late, but not like before. But with Russ, man, he'll definitely get involved in any kind of conversation. Talk about sports. Hey, James Harden, this and that. Kobe Bryant, this and that. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's what was missing. For what it felt like Nutbwallers was. And so that, I mean, without these guys, like, let's say if I didn't bring them back to this very day, I mean, I like, first of all, I wouldn't have done the shoot around game at Russ's place. You know what I'm saying? Where I won, a pretty entertaining one. Yeah, I just don't know, dude. I don't know. I mean, I think there just needs to be something. Not that I'm saying that there's something missing, but I think there's just got to be something that will definitely make the Nutbwallers vibes really feel like the Nutbwallers vibes, to where, I can definitely get involved. Like, his services will definitely drag some of the other guys when it comes to like really flowing the vibes, as long as he is the connector. And I think without that, look, I mean, I'll still have some conversations here and there with some of the other guys, but it's gonna feel more like it's just, what's the right word for that? Like, yeah, it's just like some conversations, but it's gonna be like, it's not gonna be like when Russ and Duy are there, most of the time, or even when Russ is there, you know what I'm saying? So, that's something that I think is needed. If you're talking about, pulling the vibes together, at times trying to make me feel silly, and just getting the energy going. I think when it comes to energy, I think that's when that's what Russ brings. And that's what was missing, in those group chats. Now, look, I know a lot of guys don't even get active on this as much, but that doesn't mean that they're not on. They'll see stuff, right? So they'll see whatever messages has been thrown in there, right? So look, I know sometimes Russ can get a little too extreme with his energy, especially on the group chats, but it's only going to take me at my best for me to really just match his energy. I don't have any problem trying to match anyone's energy, especially if it's so high. But it just comes a time when that I just sometimes I just need to step out, like, and really clear my head, which I've done so many times. I know my life sucks, but right now, I had to come to admit to to this, that without the services of Russ and Duy, if I still didn't bring them back to this day, it may not feel so much. There may not be so much energy in those group chats. Like, not to say these guys don't talk and all, but I'll have some conversations with some of these guys, whatever I was talking about. But it's just like a boss and Julio and Carlos when it comes to sports. Like, yeah, I mean, we'll have some conversations here and there, but if you're talking about like keeping it going, that's Russ right there. I mean, Russ will be the energy, connector, and will definitely maintain the energy of whatever we talk about. And a lot of times when it is sports, then he will be that guy. And I know Dewey used to be very active back then, even before I did what I did, right? And he is, sometimes he'll have some conversation here and there, but a lot of times he's all about business, them hangouts and all that. And he has plans for his birthday. He talked about it in the group chat. So I mean, he's not going to be around as much as Russ still is to this day, right? So I think that, I mean, it's good for me to bring everyone back, and so the Nutbwallers is complete for the most part. It's just, without them, like, to this day, I mean, I don't know, honestly. I think there may just be a sense of energy, like, just missing. Not that the group chats, or even just whatever I had in the group prior to bringing them back, like, never had any energy, but it's just something. It would just not feel. Something may just not feel the same when you're talking about like Nutballers vibes. And I think when we got Russ for that, like, hell, Russ will say a lot of shit. We'll clown around with him and all that. I mean, our boss, when it comes to hangouts, hell, a boss would definitely bring the Nutballers vibes, even without Russ. And Neil too. I think mostly a boss and Carlos, even without Russ. But I think when it comes to like the group chats, I think Russ's services are definitely impacting the energy of the Nutballers vibes, and it's good now, like, to have those guys, and especially Russ, when I know I have not been the same at times, and just knowing that, like, I just can never be the same person while I'm in that dump, right? But as I'm closing this out, dude, I just want to throw in something positive, and I know guys like Julio, Robbie definitely would, they click well with Russ too, and if Andrew too, but unfortunately he's not, he's done with me. But I'm just saying, like, I think Russ can definitely easily get along with anyone, except guys like Tristan, and I think Rico is another one too. Guys like Tristan and Rico are, they got pretty strong personalities, and they're just different. I don't see those guys, and especially Jesse as well, to not be a part of the Nutballers. So, we have what we have, and it's I think like to this day, without Russ and Duy, I think it's, I mean, the energy may not be the same, but I think with them there, I think it's even helping me feel a sense of belonging back to my friend circle. Because remember, I did what I did, and at one point I felt like so much darkness, and the anxiety was so real, and just randomly bringing them back, like Russ and Duy, it worked out. So now it's good to see Russ really active again, right? So whenever you want to talk, you're like, hey, I'll make sure I'll be there, and I just have to be in my best behavior. You know what I'm saying? So it's good. It's yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good to have his services, and you know, it's like I'm pretty sure things will get better, and you know, later on, things will get better. You mean for me? Yeah, a new job would. I've said it over and over again. So, but I did the best I can. I'm just not consistently energetic. I know I'm never the same person. I'm not myself at this time. So it is what it is, man. When I get these big breaks or these breaks, then you know, I certainly would love to hang with these guys again, and especially with Russ, since I still got to celebrate his birthday. I'll plan on celebrating his and Ray's birthdays, you know. So whenever that next big break comes, then I got to do that. So and it's hard. I'm hardly ever just going out now, you know. So yeah, I'll work that out, and yeah, you guys let me know what you think, man. Russ is definitely the energizer bunny, you know, for the group chats and for the Nutbwallers in general. So I know Duy would be like that guy, but man, you know, it's yeah, I think Russ is definitely in need for, you know, just when it comes to his energy and really bringing the energy in the group and all that. So, you know, just glad to really see him and Duy back. So, yep. I'll see you guys later. Peace.